I bought this 40 years ago. I think I paid $500 for it, and it's perfect. But this is just a pretty glaze on here. Bell made this from Strasbourg.
You say it's probably mid-1800s also?
Review and exchange with Tom, the owner of the 1677 cabin. In this video, we will learn how he first got the cabin, an interesting encounter there, and a random discovery he made when he first bought the place. We will also take a look at a few of Tom's prized collections and hobbies. Tom is a widower in his 70s, loves and lives history. He has allowed me to feature a number of his properties. One I will link above. Now sit back and step with me into Tom's beautiful world. This is Tommy Kipps, everyone, and we are going to talk about Tommy's house, his old cabin.
Okay.
It's in Virginia in the Shenandoah Valley somewhere.
That's right.
Correct?
Yes, that's right.
All right, so this painting, now Tommy, you had this commissioned, is that what?
Yes, I did.
You had this commissioned? Tell us about this painting here.
A girl named Kim Judah. She lived in the mill there beside of it, where you see the stone bottom and the brown top.
Yep.
That was the mill, and Kim lived in there, and I was in a art studio in Mount Jackson, and I saw a painting of the mill, and I asked the lady who did it, and she said the girl that lives in the mill. So I contacted her and asked her would she do a painting of the village there. She no longer lives in the mill. She moved up in the mountains someplace.
There's a stream that runs through the property that provided a scene for you. Tell me about that.
Well, there were 3 little girls in there, and they were skinny dipping. And I walked up and I asked them, "What are y'all doing here?" And they said, "We're just swimming." And "Who are you?" And I told them my name. And I said, "I bought this property." And one of them got up out of the creek and walked up to me and shook my hand. And from that time on, we were all friends up there. And her mother had bought the place, and there were like 6 kids that lived in that house, 4 girls and 2 boys. And they were just young teenagers, and a mother who was divorced bought the house across the street from me the same day I bought mine in '74. One of them is the aunt of the girl who lives there now.
Okay.
It was this girl's mother's sister.
So they acted like they weren't shocked or surprised at all?
No, not at all. They just walked up like they had clothes on.
And how old were you?
I was probably 39.
39 years old.
Yeah, that was in '74.
All right, I think I found the skinny dipping hole. This is the deep hole right here. And I can't tell how deep that is, but it looks like it might be 3 feet deep. But man, I tell you what, there isn't really anywhere along this creek that I can tell that is deeper. This is all like ankle deep, not very deep. And this is deep right here, deep enough to skinny dip. It's kind of private in here. You can see how brushy it is. And right there's the house. So Tommy probably came right down here, heard the commotion, got down here, and there were 3 teenage girls skinny dipping in that hole right there. If you knew Tommy, it fits. All right, Tommy? All right. The cabin has 1677 carved on the mantle.
Right.
Do you believe it was built that early, this far west, or could it be from an earlier cabin the owner brought with them?
I heard it may have come off a ship at one time, the mantle. But the 1677 was carved in there when I got it. I know that the house was there in 1740. I saw it on a map. There was a structure there. That's all I know about it. I don't know about the 1677. That area back then was called the Forest. They called that the Forest. And there was a tannery there and a iron furnace there. There was a casket making company there, made caskets. A cobbler. There were several buildings in this town at the time.
And what was your initial goal with it?
To fix it up and live in it and be there and just spend my life there.
If we could uncover something meaningful to you on the site, what would that be?
You know, there are people who go around and dig privies, outhouses. There are people from Richmond, I know a group that does that. And they did another house for me. Maybe it might be a piece of pottery in the outhouse, and where they had dipped lime and just dropped it in there because there's no more than a jar back into them. Mm-hmm. And maybe a coin or something. I don't need anything from it. I'm happy with the house itself. When I was born and raised in Frederick County, my mother's people, I always knew where they were from. They were from Frederick County at an area called Siler. But my daddy's people, my daddy and his twin brother ran away from home when they were 9 years old and never went back. And whenever we'd ask Daddy where he was from, he'd say up in Shenandoah County someplace. And he died in 1966. And I saw his twin brother, my uncle, downtown in 1974. And I told Uncle Alfred, I said, I bought a house. He said, where at? And I told him, he said, Tommy, he said, your daddy and I were born 2 miles from there. So my father, all my family on my daddy's side are all from up there. I'm up there working on the house in the 90s. The mailman stops by and he said, I'm your cousin Dwight. And he got out and shook my hand and invited me to the church up there, Mount Zion Church, and that's where all my daddy's people. He was raised by his grandfather and grandmother, and they're all buried there, and I've reconnected just by faith. It is right back to where they come from. When my first teaching job was in Shenandoah County and in Strasburg, Virginia, and when I got down there, I always went to auctions and bought stuff. And when I went down there, I found out about Strasburg Pottery. It was called Pot Town at one time. And I just started going to sales, and I was buying crocks for $2 and $4, and if they were signed, if they had decoration on them, a lot added to the value of them. And they made everything. They made everything from flower pots to mugs to you name it. And some of their fancier stuff they called multi-glaze. That was with the green and the cream and stuff like that on them that you see. And I just started over the last 45, 50 years buying Strasburg pottery, and I collect it. Most of the stuff comes out of the mid-1800s. The latest crock pottery mill around here, factory, was actually there was one in Frederick County here, Round Hill. They had a pottery. This is the latest one I just bought. This is a little half a gallon here, and it's perfect, but there is a mark on there. I can't see very right here. Right here it is.
Strasburg.
That's Layhew, Strasburg, Virginia. And this is a half a gallon, and I was at a sale. I just bought this here this past summer. And it's perfect. And this is a $150 crock. I tried to get it for $85 or $100, and I paid $147 for it.
You're not a good negotiator, huh?
Well, that one there. That's a Keister there. That's a Strasburg crock, the Keister family.
Now, what would they use these for back in the day?
Everything from kraut jars to pickles to flower pots. Here's a flower pot, and this is a white slip glaze. They had that green on there, and this is a Bell, S. Bell and Sons, Strasburg, Virginia. This was a flower pot.
Wow.
And probably built made in 1850. And this is these are called multi-glaze. This is a multi-glaze. This is signed also. This is a H. Bell and Son. You see that right there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's a stamp. And this was they could use it for anything. This was probably a flower pot at one time. But they made mugs. This is a multi-glazed mug. I bought this 40 years ago. I think I paid $500 for it. And it's perfect. But this is just a pretty glaze on here. Bell made this from Strasbourg.
You say that's probably mid-1800s also?
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is a cream pitcher here. This is a multi-glazed cream pitcher made in the valley, Strasbourg. It's not signed, but it is. And they made, this is a milk crock. This is a milk or water crock, they call it.
And what got you into this?
I was teaching school in Strasbourg in '68, and I'd go to sales, and I would see this. Here, this is a crock right here. This is a Solomon Bell. That's Bell and Son. Should be on here.
Yep, I see
I
it.
can't see very well.
Yep, I see it.
They stamped them, and it makes them valuable if they're stamped and if they're not cracked, and the different glazes on them. Back from 1930 to 33 at Round Hill, they put a stamp on the bottom, Winchester, Virginia, with the apple on them. And they sold these at Apple Blossom and stuff. They only did it for 3 years, from 30 to 33. Well, these were dug at Round Hill. A buddy of mine dug these, found a whole case of them. That's during the war. They were inkwells, and they had a press course covering the Civil War up on Round Hill. And he found 24 of them in a case, and he gave me 2 of them.
Wow.
Aren't they neat?
Yeah.
He dug them up on Round Hill. And that is a cake bowl right there. That one is a cake bowl.
That one right there is a cake bowl.
That's a cake bowl. And then the one down at the bottom has a lip on it, the one you can't see very well. That's a milk bowl.
It's a milk bowl.
Yeah, it should have a spout on it somewhere, but that's a milk bowl. And they just used them for everything. Before they really had glass bottles and stuff. This is a green glaze. They also had that green glaze on there.
It's beautiful.
Isn't it pretty?
Yeah.
Yep.
Now you got a couple interesting things over here, Tommy. What are these? These look like
Those are inkwells.
Those are inkwells.
Those are like 1890 to 1910. I don't know why I bought them, but I just liked them.
Oh, they're cool. Look at
Aren't
that.
they neat?
Yeah, look at that
This,
glass.
this I thought this is a. No, this one is a tilt. One of them this one, it tilts back like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they were saying Tiffany inkwell, and it's a Tilton inkwell.
Tilton.
They tilted it back and got their egg out, then they would take it back up. They were just something I liked, and they're
Yeah,
100 years old. Aren't they neat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you also have a collection of cigar stamps, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Let's go take a look at that. The house here is an old antique house too.
Yeah, 1854.
1854.
Yeah, these are called tobacco tags here.
Tobacco tags.
Yeah. Back from 1870 to 1930, plug tobacco would have.
Got a little glare on it there.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna turn the light off.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, they're going to be able to. You guys can see this, right? You guys can see enough of this. So these are old too.
These are 1870. Here's a book on them that I bought. 1870 to 1930. Chewing tobacco tin tags. And they would put these on plug tobaccos. And the guys would come out and they were wrapped in cellophane. They'd take these little plugs. They got little points on there to hold the cellophane on them.
Mm-hmm.
See on the sides here?
Yep.
And they would just take them like pop caps, throw them on the ground. And people started collecting them. I mean, there are thousands of them. Oh, and down in North Carolina, there are towns down there that people really go crazy over them. But they're just, I mean, they're really neat.
And you got quite a collection of these things.
I've got a few, yeah.
So what got you into these? I'm just curious. What got you into that?
When I grew up, an old guy used to come down to the pool hall, and he was a salesman for a tobacco company. And he took a plywood and turned them into, made a tobacco leaf and had tobacco tags all stuck into it. And he told me what they were, and I always kind of thought they were neat, and I was at a sale one day, and I bought them. What they were.
And so you got arrowheads here, I see.
Yeah, I picked up. I didn't pick them up. They were at a good deal, and I picked them up just to have
a collection.
Have a collection. Yeah. This is crazy, I know.
No, it's not.
This is one of the latest things. I got banks.
Oh,
I went crazy over banks there for a while.
yeah. Now these are old. I mean, man, you could tell that some of these are really old.
Those 3 refrigerators are some of the neatest. Back in the day, when they sold these refrigerators, they would give you, this is General Electric, I think, it's GE on there. They would give you, when you bought a new refrigerator, they would give you one of these banks as a gift. This is a bank. It is a slot right there.
Wow, man,
And 3 of them are all 3 of those are refrigerators that they gave out when you bought a refrigerator.
Man, that thing is heavy.
Isn't it? They're all cast iron and heavy.
Man,
Aren't they neat?
Yeah, it is.
I just love banks.
Yeah, and all of these are banks. A rooster, a chicken hen. Holy smokes, this is heavy.
I know. Yeah.
It's like 15, 20 pounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool. A lot of really cool stuff. Here's a...
That's really neat. I like the paint on that one. I like the paint on this one.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty one too. With the paint, and paint is important. This is really pretty, a bank.
Yeah.
And this is pretty.
That looks like a little safe.
Yeah, it does.
A bank safe.
Yeah, there are a lot of them are safe. Here's one here is a safe. And yeah. Here's a safe.
It's amazing that
a lot of them are post office boxes like that
you even find these anymore.
Well, I know. I've got 2 of these. This is a bank that came out in the 100-year-old from the 1776. This came out in 1876. I've got 2 of these.
Wow.
There's the other one over there.
And these are probably all from the 1800s.
Mostly are from the 1800s, yeah.
Wow.
Some are up to the 1920s and stuff like that.
Wow, look at that. Just
Aren't they
amazing. Yeah, they are.
This whole thing was the post office out of Ripon, Virginia.
Ripon, I know where that's at.
It's in West Virginia now.
Yeah. And that
this was 1849. This was signed on the back. Delivered to Ripon, Virginia, 1849.
Wow.
And it makes a good thing to display your banks with.
Wow.
I have more banks at my mom's, but...
Like I told you guys, man, walking into Tommy's house is like walking into a museum. He's got stuff like this all over.
It's fun stuff, man. It's just fun.
Yep.